Okay, so all that does is that's an eraser wheel on the drill. There's still a little bit of glue left. That just takes off the double-side tape that I had on there off the old spoiler. So if you haven't watched any of my videos, auto body videos, where we go over the eraser wheel, we went over it in a few. This is all an eraser wheel. It is basically it's a giant eraser. If you watch our, I think it's the boat motor cover, where we take decals off boat motor cover, I actually show you part numbers and go over all the eraser wheel stuff. So make sure you're checking out the other videos also, because there's a lot of information in there that you can use on your race cars. But let's get back to fixing the braces for the wings onto the car. All right, so there's our first two outer pieces. When I first put it on, the spoiler was down. It matched the contour of the deck lid, and then I got to thinking, and I was like, that's probably wrong. I've watched a couple videos on wing basics, but I've never picked up on what angle is that, and it just dawned on me as soon as I put that on and seen it running downhill. Now, I've seen cars at the track that I remember thinking, man, their wing really looks like it's like downhill. I didn't know if it mattered or not. Shot Mr. Turbo John a message, and he gave me some information on what he feels like. And then, you know, I look back at a couple Tim McCanus videos, and a lot of theirs looks close to level. You know, John told me a couple bits of information, but a lot of theirs look close to level, so that's where I set mine at. Set mine at pretty much level. I know the wicker bill on the back determines how much downforce you have. Whether it's taller is more downforce but more drag, and lower is less drag but also less downforce. You know, but you never really think, or I have never really thought about the angle. So of course, if you kick it up, that would even create a little bit more drag, I guess, without having to have a big wicker bill. You know, and I guess if you have a lower wicker bill, it's kicked up a little more downforce, maybe it was still flow smooth off of it, and then you'd maybe still have your speed with a little drag, with a little more downforce. I don't know. Downforce creates drag. You know, it's pretty basics. But anyway, so the cool thing about that is that I originally mounted these things on with the little brackets, and then by having these, I was able to go back and undo the bottoms. And I just bent these up for temporary, but you can see basically now I have a gap, you know, between here, but I was able to move my screw in here versus originally my screw was more here and it was down. So I think I might just leave it like that. I don't really care about this gap, because once the spill plates are on, you won't see none of that, and that will help keep it off the paint. You know, but if it really bothered me, or, you know, whoever, if you messed up on yours, you could easily, since this all bolts together, you could easily rebend your supports. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to just leave it like that. And that also gives you, you know, technically some adjustments. You could even lift this up more in the back, scooting that bolt in more, you know, because I've already drilled a hole. Let's see if I can show y'all. See? There's another hole right there. So this would make for actually like this more adjustment, because I can undo this screw, kick this up one so it hits that other hole, and that would kick the wing up, creating a little bit more, I'm guessing, downforce. I don't know. Y'all give me y'all thoughts on the whole wings and do's and don'ts and stuff like that. You know, I could easily remake anything you know, by bolting it together. I could easily remake any panels. But I'm going to go ahead and do the 2 center ones. I want to, on the inside of the wing, or on the inside trunk lid, there's 2 cutouts, and I kind of want to make them fall right there so I can through bolt it like I did the outside. Let me show you what I did on the outside. And again, remember, this is all mock-up stage. This is not finalized. So these, when I put these on Harbors Asleep, so I didn't want to pull out the grinder and cut these like I talked about, because they were hitting this whenever you close it. So I just bent them out the way. But I might even leave them just bent. I mean, do they really need to be cut? You know? But anyway, we could go back and cut them off. So obviously, that'd be a whole lot cleaner than this mess, and I probably will. But you do have a spill plate on the side, and you'll never, ever see them. And that would be an actually amazing attachment point if I wanted to go from here up here to the spill plate for a brace, or even go from here down to like here where the spill plate's going to be. So maybe, you know, I don't know, maybe I'll leave that for a few and think on it. But on the outside ones, originally I wanted these flush on the outside, but I set them in because I wanted to through bolt it in the trunk lid like this. Okay, so I wanted to through bolt these little brackets, and that would make it so that, you know, these sit in, but it makes it so that it's easier to bolt on than trying to, you know, get all up inside here, which there's no access point without cutting it out. And I might also powder coat these. We do powder coat at the shop for ourselves. Like I went over in one of Randy's videos. I don't do it for customers, but I do have the powder coat gun and everything to do small pieces where I could powder coat my brackets, you know, and I could even powder coat, I might even powder coat these because they're so small. Instead of painting them, powder coat my brackets and then just paint my the deck lid, the deck of the wing, and paint the spill plate so they match the car. I don't know, it's a lot of extra work than just painting. But anyway, on the inside you have this spot right here that goes up, so that's roughly about right there. So I think that's gonna be perfect, you know, that's center. So I'm gonna come and mount that thing right in here so that I can through bolt it and get these centers done. And I'm gonna do them the exact same way with the black brackets so that they're spaced off, and keep that wing like that. You know, now that it's up, you can kind of see, you know, the contour of everything. So it's really not bad. It kind of still matches. It's not like it's hideous, but yeah. And here's a little bit more weight where it holds the trunk lid up without the 2x4. It will stay up right now, but that's without spill plates and the other 2 braces. So I think by the time I get them in, it's gonna be a little too much weight on the trunk lid. So I will need to figure out some kind of mechanism to keep it up. I might just drill a hole all the way through this and this, like I did on my hood shock, and have a pull pin that basically is just hanging in here. When you open it, you slip the pin through, and that's what holds it up. But we'll see. We'll take this step by step. Let's get these centers mounted, and then I'll be back with y'all. All right, so there we are. We have the center ones mounted in. Okay, that's how they look. And then, you know, you seen a second ago with the outside ones. So that's where we're at right now. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with the spill panels, and I've got these marked, but I have not drilled them out, so I think I'm going to wait and drill them out tomorrow. This thing is pretty sturdy, man. Like I can rock the whole trunk lid, you know, with it. So that's actually really sturdy. So I'm happy with it where it's at so far. I'm going to keep on getting it and figure out what's going on with the spill panels, and go from there. When these come off, I do have to mark these and trim this off just a little bit of the centers, how the trunk lid basically curves out. It pushed these out a little, but I knew I was going to have final fitment stuff, so I'm going to trim that. And then I have a slight gap here, which I wanted so that it wasn't touching the paint, but then the center it is. So I'll probably scribe it with a Sharpie from the bottom. And then when I take it off for the final time, I'll probably clearance the center a little bit more, so that hopefully when I put it back together, I have basically where you could stick a dollar bill down through there. You might be able to get a driver's license in there. No credit card because the numbers are probably hang up, but you could definitely maybe force your driver's license through there. That's how tight it is, and I just didn't want it right on the paint. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at. All right, so that's with the spill panel on the side just clamped on. So originally I was going to have it so that the side of the wing, the 90 that I had, bolted into here, and this stuck up above it. And then when I actually that was how it was in my head. And then when I actually mocked it up here, the wing you know, as you can see a little bit, sticks up a little bit above the thing. Now this is thick stuff. Now I guess I could come in here and mark this right here and try to kick the wing down a little more on the sides, but I'm not sure if I want to do that or if I just want to kind of leave it straight like that. I was thinking to just have my spill panels like this and get a bolt through there, okay, right through there where it's clamped at, basically, and then have another piece that would be the same thickness as the wicker bill all the way around it. So basically the side panels would be the deck lid, the deck, the spill, and then the wicker bill that would go actually all the way around. And then the wicker bill on the back would also be a piece for the side, a strip that you could change out, so you could change the heights if you wanted to. And then I could also go ahead and cut it so that it like rolls over top of the quarter panel extension. So it's just me kind of thinking out loud for tonight before I call it quits. Or I rebend up, which I have plenty of metal. I rebend some spill panels and go ahead and make them taller on the side. So I'm gonna do a little reading tonight. I don't know if I want to make it so I can change them out, you know, or if I just want to make them all one piece. Either way, this right here is not going to have a gap. It's going to be in like this. So it will look basically like that. And it'll have a tab on the inside of here. It'll have a tab, you know, riveted to here that will come over and have a Zeus fastener through these sides. So I'll keep them where they spring out a little like this. I'll keep that tension on it like that. That way you could push it in to Zeus it and it holds it. And then when you unzeus it, it springs out so you can open and close the trunk lid and you don't ever have to worry about it, you know, springing down a little and scratching the paint, hopefully. You know, hopefully the tension on the side leaves it. And I might tighten the tension up a little bit where it's a little closer, but I think I might leave it like that. You know, I just kind of make this up as I go. Let me know your opinion on the spill panels. Rebend one, and if so, how high do you recommend it sticking above the deck? Or do you like the idea of being able to change it out and have side pieces just like the rear wicker bill that bolt on and bolt off and change them out? So if you want it sleek and low, you know, you could just leave these right here. But if you wanted to extend it up higher, then you could bolt some, you know, extra to it. And I might leave it like that because there's barely like any wicker bill there, right? Or why do I keep calling it wicker bill? Is the piece that sticks up above the spill panel called a wicker bill on the side, or is that just all called one piece of the spill panel? What's sticking up now is not that much, so I might just leave it like that and just have them low on the sides and then have a higher one, because I know if you have it higher there, then it will make the air kind of spill over the sides as it's coming back. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what y'all think on what I should do with the side pieces. This morning I redid the spill panel. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and put me an inch solid on the sides, and I'm gonna add to it so it looks a little better. So when it's curved, and y'all bear with me, it's cardboard. It doesn't one-handed. It doesn't want to bend right, but you get the gist right there. Okay, so it kind of will sit more on the body line up top and hang past it a little more like that and look a little bit more like it's for the car. I originally square cut this, you can see right here, and then all you do is if you know you square cut or you cut too much out, you just add yellow tape right here, little pieces to get yourself the curve. So I just added little pieces to roughly get myself the curve, and then when I lay it out on aluminum, I'll make sure that curve is even tighter than that so that I can just trim it to fit, you know, so he'll go kind of more like that. That'll be the look of it. So we can get this transferred over to aluminum and get it cut out, get it fit, and you know, adjust a couple things, and then I'll show y'all where we're at. We're just gonna bend this one at like a 45 because I don't think we don't need a full 90, and I don't want to have to try to deal with straightening it back out. So we're just gonna do roughly a 45. We could still put it back in here and tweak it a little if we need to. Man, I hate undoing them things when they're tight. We're gonna do that right now. Now we'll go and start working our curve in it like this to get some curve, and then just start fitting it to the quarter panel and see where we're at. And then if we need to put some more bend in this, we will. So to put some bend in this, we're just gonna manhandle it on this pipe, lay this pipe down, and roll it around pipe to start test fitting our curve. Our spill plate done. As you can see, we now have where it overlaps the quarter a little more. I think that looks a lot more like it's purpose built than just rolling with it. We have 1 inch sticking up all the way down it this time. The camera to focus. So that looks I think that looks really good. So I definitely appreciate all the comments and ideas. I'm thinking I'm definitely going to take the advice from not putting, a Zeus fastener here, and instead maybe just bracing it from the corner down here back to the wing like I had already talked about, but somebody else also mentioned that, and greatly appreciate the feedback because it definitely helps. One more thing I'm going to do is the trunk lid. In the comment section, a guy was like, if the wing flexes any, that it's pretty much useless is what he always was told, and that makes sense. So the center of this wing actually does, you can see right there, it does flex a little up and down. So I'm thinking I'm just going to take a little 90-degree brackets, one of them little 90s, and in between each brace, put a little tiny one just to help, so that when the wind rolls off the deck lid, that it's not disturbing it right here. So the back will be braced sideways with the duck bill, but the front up here won't have anything. So in between these gaps, I think I'm going to just place one more little 90 that bolts into the trunk and bolts into the wing. I'll probably just rivet it to the actual deck lid, I guess, and then go from there. But yeah, I like the way that looks. I think that's looking a whole lot better than what I was going to originally do. Taking a few minutes and just recutting that was definitely worth that this morning. I think when it's all painted black, that it should really look good in my opinion. So keep rocking and rolling. Got to do everything that I did on this side to the other side, to the spill panel, and then move on to the final the final little bits and pieces. All right, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and send it out like this. So on the other side, let me show you what I'm working with. Here's our piece. Where'd it go? Here's our piece. So do y'all remember when we bent this thing up, how I told you I bent it a little too sharp and I cracked the metal, I have Mike weld it. Well, if you remember on the other side, it was like this and I bent it out. I had to bend it out. So when I started to bend this out like this, it basically broke off. So I'm gonna have to have either Mike weld this back on, or we're gonna have to put a piece of 90, aluminum 90 in here. Not sure what I'm gonna do yet, but anyway, this piece is a touch long, so I make mistakes. So it looks like it can even come in down, and looking at this angle a lot more than that. So I had it like this down the side of the car, but now that I back up even over and more, I might need to even move my line in a little more. I don't know, it looks pretty, yeah, I think it's just the camera throwing it off, because standing here looking at it, it looks good like that down the side. So I basically, between the bends, I made it a touch too wide from here to here. So if you're doing it at your home, it might be best not even worry about bending the ends of the wings. Just do it flat and then get you some aluminum 90 and, you know, just rivet it along. That way it's just easier. I mean, you could try to bend it, but you know, I messed up. We all make mistakes. So I need to trim this back, and then, like I said, either put some 90 on this or take this piece to the shop on Monday and have Mike weld this back to it, to the correct location that it should be in. But over here on this side, I went ahead and braced the top of the wing like we were talking about doing. And I want to show you how I did that from the bottom side. So we went ahead right there and put another one in. So that's a strut brace, and then that's a strut brace. So I needed something in between it. So what I did was I came underneath here and put this little piece right here in it. So my gap, I went ahead and put a washer in it. You see right there? I put a washer in it to shim it up. So, and I riveted that to the trunk lid and then through bolted it. But you can, after you do yours, you know, if your height is not exactly like you want it, then you can basically shim it up. You know, you make sure you try not to set them pieces too high, because you can never move it down unless you re-drill the hole, but you can always shim up. So I cheated mine down just a touch, and I'm gonna do the same thing between the other ones, and then I'll put shims in it for what I actually need. But that's what she's looking like right now. We got Harper, what does it look like? What is that, jelly all over your face? Stone cold killer. But that's what it's looking like. So we still gotta do the back, but I think I'm gonna wrap that up for this video, because I bet it's getting kind of long on you know, the actual metal work. And then I'll probably pick up the third part on showing what it looks like with it together. Maybe going over the wicker bill, and then I will go over how to paint this thing, what products you should use to get the paint to stick to aluminum, and you know, and then I'll show a finished product in the third video, and that might take, you know, next week to get that finished. But I just wanted to kind of go ahead and get that out to y'all so that you can kind of see what it looks like, because you pretty much can get an idea of that. And you know, we'll pick back up maybe next weekend or the end of the week after I get the hardware in, because I am going to get rid of these flathead screws. I'm going to order the correct hardware today, and then I'm going to address, you know, the other side and do everything I did on this side to the other side and get it all put together. So like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on the notification button so you don't miss the final of this all together. And when this thing's painted and all the yellow tapes off of it, this thing should look absolutely sick. Thanks, y'all.